Welcome back to the Conscious Salon podcast. That should give you a good clue of who our special guest is today. She is a trailblazer in the beauty industry. She's an engaging educator, a boss, a mum, a woman who's built a wildly successful brand by keeping it real, both online and in the treatment room. She is obsessed with helping people improve their skin, not just with product recommendations, but with education, empowerment, and honest conversations. What started as a skin journey born from her own struggle with acne, it has now evolved into a booming 3-room clinic, a team of 4, and an incredible online store. Straight out of her diploma, she became laser focused on treating skin and began showing up on Instagram to share everything she was learning. She was one of the first people in our industry to truly own personal branding in the online space, and she showed us that beauty professionals can be informative, engaging, and authentically themselves. Since then, she's earned the title as the co-host of the Adore Beauty podcast, where she continues to make skin education both accessible and very entertaining. But behind all of that, behind the business, the podcast, the content, there is a woman who is navigating the juggle of motherhood and business. She's a mum to her daughter Naya, and at the time of recording, she's also pregnant with baby number 2. She knows firsthand what it means to build an empire with a baby on her hip. TEGAN Mac, we are so excited to have you on the Conscious Salon podcast for the Motherhood series.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Dot.SKIN.
Dot.SKIN it's my legal name now. I changed it.
I know, we're so excited. How beautiful is that though, hearing that? I feel like it's like a eulogy.
I know. It reminds me of that show. Do you remember This Is Your Life?
And
it's like the book and you're like sitting there like, wow, I've done a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. I know. We need a copy of that sent to everyone.
How does that feel? Do you know, I always get every time we do an intro, I always feel really emotional because often we've watched that woman evolve and grow, sometimes from the very beginning, like what we have with you.
Yeah.
And it's this real moment of feeling like proud of your journey. How do you feel hearing that?
I mean, I just remember a time when like I did uni degrees, I never finished them, and I was just like, I don't know what my job is going to be, but like I know what it's like going to feel like. And then somehow I've just like combined all these different elements of things that I love, and it's all kind of like come together where I get to do podcasts and make funny videos on Instagram and like edit videos and do all the media stuff and the drama stuff that I loved in high school, but then combine it with education and then beauty. I've always loved beauty, and it's just like crazy how it's all these different things that I loved have come together, and I've like made my own career out of it.
It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's like a real, were you a theatre kid at school?
Yeah, I got ducks in drama. There was only 5 people in the class.
This is your life.
But I got it. But uni was a bit too much drama for me. That was a bit too like impromptu, like crazy stuff. But I loved doing funny stuff and like improv stuff and, you know, just like we used to make movies all the time as kids, and I was always editing them, and then it's like
you and Nikki are the
now
same.
I can do it again, and like people
it's amazing.
love it. Yeah.
Well, and this thing now you're doing it professionally to be able to that's pretty phenomenal. Like when
you get to like show your personality and like that's why I think everything's worked out for me is because people like me, like they want to get behind me, and you know, it's like it feels like we're all friends, and I feel like without that, like that was the brand.
Totally.
The brand was just being myself.
I want to say like you were truly one of the first people. So I'm a beauty therapist, Tess is a hairdresser.
Yeah.
And you were one of the first therapists that I saw that was exceptionally authentic online.
Exactly what I was going to
Because
say.
I feel like for hairdressers where, you know, often they're a little bit more outspoken, a little bit more out there creative.
Yeah.
They almost have this permission to be themselves earlier on in the game. But therapists, there was always this pressure. Well, I certainly felt it. There was this pressure to be perfect and to be polished and to be professional.
Yeah, kind of like a hotel day spa kind of.
Clinical,
Very
like
clinical.
Very professional, have to know every single thing. Whereas, I agree with that. I think hairdressers have got a bit more of that, like, you know, she's loud or like
well, you get to wear what you want.
Exactly.
Whereas like everyone's in the same uniform in beauty, and it's all about being clean and polite.
And for me, you were a real expander because you were probably one of the first people I found online where I was like, wow, this person stands out. She's really, really authentic. She's engaging. She's funny. She's, got this like cheeky side to her that she's 100% going against the grain of what everyone else is doing, where they're showing up being like this polished version.
Yeah.
And I really found so much comfort in that in terms of growing online and being more comfortable being authentic online.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of that is because I was by myself. Like I didn't have a team. It was just me in my dungeon and Andrula did all the laser and I did all the skin. So it's like even though at that point it wasn't my business yet, I kind of got to do what I want with it. So I wonder if if my first job, because that was my first job, was with a team, I think everything would have worked out very differently because you would have had to fit in with the team.
That's really
interesting. And you can't really like just post whatever you want. I think even back then, like having your own Instagram was like a no-no. It was like, because then people can find you online and then if you leave then clients going to follow you. Whereas like I get all of my girls to have their own page because it's like that's where you get to show what you're all about. And I feel like that was so important for me and that Andrula just gave me free reign to just film random stuff downstairs.
Look at you now.
Look at you now. So Teags, I want to go back to the start because obviously TEGAN MAC.SKIN was your first baby.
Yes.
And now you've got baby Naya and now you've got another little baby on the way.
Yeah.
So
but can you talk us through how your business journey came about and how you actually started the clinic?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think I might have been like on a walk with my friend and I was like, I think I'm just going to, it was because Johnny was studying in Canada. And so I was so devastated when he left. I was like, what am I going to do? And then I was like, had all this spare time. And I was like, I'm just going to start this Instagram that I've always wanted to start. And I didn't really know what to call it. And at the time, my friend who's big in beauty, her name's Elizabeth C. We went to high school together and like she kind of was helping me with names. And I was like, I'll just do my name and skin. And then I don't even know how it grew. I think like Adore Beauty, we did some stuff and it grew then. And like everyone was online during COVID. And then I would have started that in 2016 or 2017. And then by 2019, Andrula sold her skin side of the business to me. And because I already had the Instagram name, it just kind of became the business name.
So it wasn't really a plan to have a business. It just kind of happened.
I used to say that I didn't want one. I was like, I don't want that drama of like I have to be in charge and like if I want to take a holiday, I want to get paid, my annual leave.
Right.
And then it just got to a point where I was so busy with skin and people were coming in because of my Instagram that I was like, do you want to get paid by the hour or paid for everything, all the treatments that are coming in? And it just made sense.
Yeah.
And instead of leaving and starting fresh, Andrula was just like, it was the most seamless, amazing deal I had with her where she just sold everything that I was using and I just continued on. So like when it was my first day, the bookings were already there because they were the same bookings that I had when I worked under Bare Body. So it just kind of all flowed. It wasn't much of a risk.
Yeah.
Like I knew people were going to book in because I was 3 months booked in advance at that point. And then when COVID hit, like online is kind of where I thrive. So making videos and online consults and having the online store, it all just kind of picked up really quickly.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Tegan, then how many years in were you when you were pregnant with Naya?
2019, and then I got pregnant in 2022. So on my honeymoon, the year I got married, got pregnant straight away. I always wanted to have kids. It was just like I couldn't be settled with my life until I got to experience it. And like that year of being like I turned 30, I got married, I got pregnant. It was just like the best year of my life.
You had like the like ultimate 30th birthday. I feel
like I was going on holidays with my friends. Like I knew it wasn't a year for saving money. I was like, I know I want to have a baby, so let's just go on holidays, buy the clothes you want to buy.
100%.
Like we don't have a house, partly because of this year of my life. But I just knew that like I just wanted to like live my 30-year-old life and then doing that while pregnant. And like I've been very fortunate to have really good pregnancies. for the most part.
Amazing.
That it was just like it was the prime of my life, being pregnant with Naya, running the business, being married. It was just great. And then she was born in May of 2023. Yeah. 2 days before my birthday.
Oh, you guys are, oh my gosh. Are you the same star sign?
We're both a Taurus. Yeah.
Wow. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's an expensive week for Johnny every year.
Oh, yeah.
We love it though.
Yeah.
God, imagine.
And Mother's Day, because sometimes my birthday
together.
falls on it, sometimes her birthday falls on it. It just depends.
That's just the week of women. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I
It's all
love
about
that.
us.
Yeah,
it's all about the girls.
Absolutely, always.
Tegan, I want to talk a little bit about the identity shift that you would have had in terms of being a business owner and then becoming a mum and balancing that. And I actually want to read you something that you said to us prior to recording, if that's okay.
Yeah.
That I just think
Tegan's like, fuck, hang on, wait,
oh
what
God.
it sums up.
I
It just,
said?
when I read it, it actually made me really emotional because it sums up the juggle of motherhood and running a business. So you said, I can't do everything 100%. Sometimes one post a week is the best you can do. Sometimes chips and sauce is the best dinner you can make for Naya. The standard has to shift. It was hard adjusting to that. I can't throw myself into work the way I used to. Sometimes I feel like a bird in a cage. I want to run wild with ideas, but I have limited time where I can actually do that. Naya comes first now.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was just so beautiful, summing up the massive shift in identity, the massive shift going from the business baby to the actual firstborn baby.
Well, this is going to make me cry now. You guys are right. I'm going to cry. Yeah, because I just remember like I put so much work into the business. And then when I had her, it was kind of like Johnny got to still do all the things that made him him. And I was just like on my own at home with the baby. And I just thought like, and I filmed a video on this once where I was like, it just feels like it's all slipping away. And I knew it was just going to take time, but it was really hard to just see things kind of stay stagnant with the business and then even kind of start to drop off and, you know, followers will drop off and you're just like, I put so much work into that and I love being a mum, but like, how do I do both? And like when you have a newborn, you can't. So when I have this next baby, I feel like my expectations are going to be totally different because I know like eventually you will get back in the game. And for some people, it might be when their kids are at primary school. You know, it might take 5-6 years to get to that point. But I just remember so many times where I was sitting there and I just thought like so much of who I am has just been parked because I have to do this now. And like Naya didn't take a bottle. So even when I went to work, I'm like breastfeeding while people are under the LED. I've got like 13 minutes to quickly do that. And then I'm running upstairs and doing the client and then coming back. And then, it was just crazy. But I just couldn't take mat leave because I had a business to run, but I had to watch it kind of fizzle a little bit in order to look after Naya, which was more important and will always be more important.
That is such an incredible share. Like, thank you so much for saying that because even just for, like, I've had my son in February and he's my first, I'm a step parent. I've got a 12-year-old stepdaughter, but he's my first physical baby. Not physical. I birthed him. So even with that, hearing you say that, I feel so fucking seen with I went through the exact same that loss of identity and that like I remember sitting at home with my newborn and my partner, he'd gone back to work, everyone had returned to their lives. You know, at the initial part of when you have a baby, everyone's right in there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, partners go back, everything returns and you're sitting
still there.
Yeah, being like, what the fuck is my impact now? Like how is this?
And just not having the choice.
Yeah.
Like Johnny's like, you know, I need a boys' night and I'm like, I need a girls' night, but I can't have one. Like, and I would say to him, like, I'm jealous of you. Like if it's too much for you, you can go stay at your parents' house and have a night on your own, or you can have a weekend away with the boys or go camping. Like I can't do that. I have to be here to feed Naya because it's the only way she's going to get fed. And like, as much as I loved feeding her, like and this is the whole thing with parenting. It's like, it's the best, but it's the hardest. And it's like, makes you feel amazing, but it's like a trap. And it's just all these things at the same time that depending on the day, like you could be loving it or you could feel like you're just on your own.
Two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
Totally. I completely get what you're saying. I think with that, I feel like I've had a child later and I'm 35. 35 or am I 36? 35.
36 now.
Nearly 36. About to turn 36. We'll hold it for every year that we have. But even with that, having it, later in life and seeing, I feel like I've been able to pick up and learn and change things. But even when I was actually in it, I knew all of these things. But I remember saying to Nikki one day, I knew I was going to be a stay-at-home mum for quite a long period of time. But actually being a stay-at-home mum, I was like, oh, this is so fucking lonely. Like I am so like, oh, no one's actually here. Like it's literally me and the baby. And that's beautiful.
And everyone's at work.
Yeah.
Like everyone's still living their life. And like but at the time didn't have friends who had kids.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
It's very strange.
Yeah. It's like this is all I've ever wanted. Yeah. But like I just want like a day where like I'm not being touched. Like I can just go out and just do what I want. And you get that. You get that back. Like now Naya sleeps 13 hours solid.
Yeah, we love that.
Like we got up at 9 today. Like we never are up before 8:30. And she eats amazing and she sits at the table on her own and she feeds herself. Whereas like when you're in the peak of like the baby stage, like every meal you're either feeding physically or feeding with a spoon. And it's just like they can't move. So if you need to take them somewhere, like you've got to physically take them somewhere. They can't just walk next to you.
Yeah.
It's like it gets easier. But like when you're in that, it's just the demand. Like it's the demand. And then on top of that, you've got to come up with funny posts for work and like film a funny video. And if I'm doing that, I'm taking, like I have to go into work just for that because I'm not there all the time.
Right.
When I used to be there 5 days a week, in my breaks I would film. So now it's like I have to really plan if I want to film something. It could take me like a month to find the time or just even the motivation and the right headspace to go in and film something and like do my makeup and go into work when I know the room's going to be free and no one's going to be there and I can be looked after. It's just like so many more factors now.
Totally.
In doing what I was doing before.
Yeah. I think we take it for granted how easy life can be before. We had that discussion the other day, just even with Nikki and I were both going to lunch with one of our girlfriends. Our girlfriend is such an angel, like she completely understands that we've got littles and we're trying
She's
to
got no kids, the lucky devil. She rocks up just by herself.
It's complete freedom. We've complete freedom.
Absolutely. Whereas we're coming in with like, I've got the pram and the bottles and the whole works and like he's got the iPad and the pencils. Her son is, Solly's 4, nearly 5. So we've got, it's so different leaving it and you forget. Even with that, I'll be like, I'll leave and I'll go. That's easy. 20 minutes be plenty of time. And it's like 40 minutes to just get out the door sometimes.
Yeah, because it's like it's not just you getting dressed.
Exactly.
You've got to get Naya dressed. And then she'll like poo before I have to leave. And then have I got a drink bottle? I'm like, I had to drop her off at my sister's on the way here and it was that same thing. Have I got a drink bottle?
Yes.
Snacks, nappies, and then it's just like before I used to just like waltz out of bed.
Oh.
Take my time.
Yes.
The lounge room looks exactly how it looked the night before. Yep. Now it's like you don't know what you're going to get.
Where did we find, when did this go?
Yeah, she stole my concealer. I still haven't found it. I'm just like, this is only going to happen more and more.
Exactly.
My son always steals tweezers and he's like the little snappers and and they're like $50, $60 tweezers. Like they're good ones.
The good ones.
Oh. Yeah,
always.
He does love those.
Yeah, Johnny's like, when are you going to learn? You can't just have a drawer of makeup like at eye level. And I'm just like, there's nowhere else for it to go.
Johnny, you're right, but also sympathise with me.
Yeah, I don't want to have to do this extra chore. So I'm just going to let her have my concealer and wear lip gloss sometimes.
One of the things that Tess and I talk about a lot, and I've heard you reference, is the fact that our industry is so performative. So the fact that, no matter what, our businesses are online, even when we're client facing, say a team member leaves, clients know about it. We're having a rough day. We have to be performative and we have to put on this different version of ourselves almost. And that can be a really hard balance with motherhood.
Yeah.
I would love to know what's been a challenging time or a challenging moment for you where you felt like, fuck, I wish I could just crawl into a hole moment, but I have to show up and be there.
There's been so many times. There's been times where me and Jodie have had a fight and then you've got to like go into work and all you can think about is like getting home and like having these conversations, but like you've got to show up for the team and you don't want people to know everything about your private life because then you have to follow it up. But definitely the most recent hardest time was, so I was so desperate to get pregnant after Naya. As soon as I gave birth, I was like, I need to do it again. Like I need to be pregnant again.
Yeah.
And so like I was seeing a naturopath to like get my period back, and because she was breastfeeding, like it did take a while. And then when she finally dropped to like 1 at night, like I think it took about 10 months to come back. And then I was like, all right, I'll start trying again. And then, you know, every month doing those tests and like it being negative, or like your period comes and you just like, I would like sit on the floor and just be upset and like have my cry and then be like, that's fine. Like this, like we all know that it takes time. You know, it can take 12 months, but it doesn't mean it's any easier every time you see a negative result or you get your period. And then finally I got a positive test and I was just like, oh, I'm back. Like we're back in my prime. This is going to be the best. And then like morning sickness kind of hit around 6 weeks, but you know, you don't tell anyone you're pregnant. So you've got to rock up to work and like be sick and no one in the team knows. I don't even know, like, you know, you want it to be a surprise reveal when you tell your mum, but like my mum's working with me. So I'm trying to keep these things from her and my best friend Bronya who's working with me, and like they know me. They know when I'm not myself. So it's like really hard to kind of look well. And then I got really sick. I got a cold and we were meant to go to Bali and I was like, that's fine. It's just a cold. And then I got the flu, like it was like 7 days cold. I felt good on the Friday, went to work on the Saturday, and like 1 hour in, I was like, I'm going to pass out. Like I am so tired. Drove home somehow, again, because you're not telling anyone that you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And I got so sick. I was having fevers and this. I'm thinking, oh my God. At this point, people knew I was pregnant. I think it was around eight weeks. And was so sick, and then I was having to take antibiotics, which, you know, you don't want to have to do because you're worried about how it's going to affect the baby. But then it's like, well, how are these fevers and me being sick going to affect the baby? So you're really conflicted about what to do, and I've got all these different medications, and it felt like I wasn't seeing my regular GP because it was like whoever I could get into, I had to just see. And everyone's saying different stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God. And we're meant to be going to Bali, and then we were like pushing the flights back, and Johnny really wants to go, and I'm like, but Johnny, I'm really sick. And like sometimes, like, love Johnny, but like if he has it in his mind that he's going somewhere, like he really wants to make it work, even though like Naya had the flu as well. She got better. I was still really sick. And then like the flight there was a disaster. Naya was screaming for hours and she only wanted to sit on me, and I felt sick and I was pregnant. And then all of Bali, I was just like vomiting all over the place and like sleeping, and lucky we had a nanny so we could kind of have Naya still have fun and I could just sleep and Johnny could lounge around by the pool. And then like the last 2 days I finally felt good and I could eat and I could swim, and I was like, oh, I've made it past morning sickness. We're back. Now we can enjoy just like I enjoyed with Naya. Then a week after coming back, I had an OB appointment, and Johnny didn't come with me because I was like, you know, it's a luxury to have someone there every time. I have to be a big girl now, and like sometimes I'm going to have to go on my own, and he has work. So I'll go on my own and I'll get my scan. And then he did the scan and was like, oh, I'm so sorry, there's no heartbeat. And initially I was like, and I feel like as a woman, you always kind of like don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So I like didn't want to cry. So I was like, oh no, like, oh, what's happened? Like trying to like be all logical. And then he was just like, there's all this fluid around the heart. It looks like it stopped growing at 9 weeks, which means when I was in Bali and I felt really good, it's because I had a miscarriage. So it was like, they were my most enjoyable days, but that was because I lost the baby, and I think that the baby was why I was so sick. Like it was taking everything from me. And like there were times where I was like, feels like I've got a parasite inside me, and like you feel like you can't say that because you're talking about a baby. But I was like, this thing is like trying to take me down. And then like when I got a D&C the next day, because he was kind of like, it's been a week. We'll give it until Tuesday to see if it passes. And I was like, I have to go home and just like wait to have a miscarriage, like for it to come out. And I thought, like, can I like leave the house, or do I have to stay at home and just like wait for that to happen? And then I just felt so uncomfortable with that idea. So Johnny was really good, and he did all the phone calls and organised with my OB to get me in the next day to have the procedure. And I just felt like as soon as it's out, I feel like I can move on. Like that's where my head was at. Like I'll feel better once it's just out. And then I had the D&C, like everyone was lovely. Like the anaesthetist stayed back for me. My doctor stayed back for me just to like make sure I could get it done. So I felt really looked after. And then comes like the time afterwards where like no one ever knew you were pregnant. You never looked pregnant, but like you've lost a baby and you've just got to go to work. And, people say like, oh, when are you going to have your next one? And it's like, well, I tried to have my next one. It didn't work out. And even family and stuff, I think if you haven't had a miscarriage, it's so hard to know how it feels. But just like because I didn't ever look pregnant, I just felt like they didn't realize how long my recovery would be. So they're like, oh, you want to go on a walk, or like we can like go to the spa? And I'm like, I'm still bleeding. Like I was bleeding for 3 weeks, and like every time there was blood, it was a reminder that there's not a baby in there. And, even at the 2-week mark, my pregnancy test was still positive. Like my body still thought I was pregnant. And it was just such a big thing to go through. But like no one knew. And then eventually I told the girls at work, because I'm a pretty open person, and I just felt like it would be too hard for them to understand why I'm not there if I don't explain. But, you don't explain to clients. So you're calling people having to cancel because you're not having a good day or you're still really sore, and people get snappy on the phone and they get annoyed at you. And it's like, do you want me to tell you that I had a miscarriage? Like I wouldn't cancel on you just because I can't be bothered. Like you just can't, people can never know everything, but like you just wish, that's all kind of you wish that people did know, which is why I feel like, telling people early, like as much as you want it to be a surprise, if anything goes wrong, like you want to have people that you can call and talk to. And luckily I had told my friends like maybe 3 or 4 days before, so they already knew. So when I called them back, it wasn't like in the one sentence, by the way, I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant anymore. I had a miscarriage. I've already had the procedure. But that was definitely a really hard time, because not only did I have to take time for myself, I had to still look after Naya, who has no idea what's going on. And, Johnny, it was a completely different experience for him, because like there was never any signs of this baby, but it's like the idea of it was now gone, and he had to kind of manage that. And then he was so scared to try again, whereas I was like, as soon as I can, I'm trying again. But like I can't force him into it, because he has to have take time to get over it too. And yeah, all of this while you're still having to like do the podcast, run a business, do team meetings, like see clients. And it's just stuff like this happens all the time for women. And, like you don't know who's had a negative test that morning, or I just think it's such a big thing that is so secretive, and like we just have to like carry on like it's normal. And it was really hard. And then I think the only thing that kind of helped me get over it was, as soon as I could start trying again, I got pregnant. Thank God, because like I just had it in my head that I wanted a baby this year. I wanted it to be born this year, but that meant I only had 3 months to do it. And that's 3 chances. And like I've never been regular, so it's like I never know when the right time is. And then thank God I got pregnant. But it's definitely been a different experience, because you just feel like you can never fully settle into it because you're like, what if it happens again? And the baby that miscarried had a syndrome, I think it was called Turner syndrome, where she had 2 X chromosomes or something. So like usually they miscarry on their own before 20 weeks, but they can make it full time and be very disabled. So a lot of people are saying, you know, it's good that you didn't have to make the decision, and like, you know, nature takes its course and your body did what it was meant to do. It could see it wasn't viable, and it's like all of that is true.
Never are helpful, just for anyone listening.
Yeah.
It's like people say that to try and
like
make
I'm
you
saying
feel
that
better.
to myself. Like I know that's logical, but like the hardest part was letting go of the idea of what I thought my life was going to look like. I thought I was going to be pregnant on my birthday, and I thought I was having a baby by June. And I thought that for this friend's dinner, I can wear this dress because I'm going to have a bump by then. And then all these dates come around and they don't look how you thought they were going to look. That was the hardest part, was just letting go of all the, like, you know, the months of daydreaming about this baby, and now it's just been taken away. And yes, it wasn't meant to be, and it wasn't viable, and I would have had to make a decision to terminate and all of that stuff. But like, sometimes it's just easier if someone's like, this is just really sad.
Yeah.
And it's just really devastating, and it's actually going to take you a long time to get over. And I think I wish someone said like, you know, this could take at least a month to physically get over, and then mentally will take even longer, because I was definitely rushing it. And it was like my body just kept reminding me by either, I don't know, weird stuff was happening, and it was like my body was like, Tegan, this isn't a normal situation. Like, you've had a miscarriage, there was a baby in there, and then within a second it's been taken out and your body's trying to catch up. This is going to take time. But I was just trying so hard to move past it. And eventually I came to terms with like, I just need to sit in this for a while and just remind people, like, and just talk about it. And like, I talk to clients about it if I'm comfortable. And then you hear of so many people going through the same thing. And it really does help feel like you've got a bit of a community out there, because I think the chance of a miscarriage is 1 in 4.
Yeah.
And Johnny never knew that. So I kind of knew this stuff because I work with women and I hear stories, but Johnny didn't. So for him, it was like, oh my gosh, like how could this possibly happen? For me, I was like, you know, there was always a chance it could happen. And I understand that, but it's still really, really sad.
So
and
sad.
that doesn't really, like the logic doesn't override the feelings that come with losing a baby. Even though it was early and it would have been a tiny little speck, it was the idea of what I was going to have.
Yeah, you grieve, like obviously the physical side of things, but the grief lasts so long. I think you just summed up how pregnancy loss feels.
And then the fear of like, is it going to happen again?
Totally.
Is it going to take a really long time to get pregnant? Like, is this going to become a problem? Like, you can't ever get those thoughts out of your head until you finally get pregnant and you get past that kind of zone where you're like, okay, I think this is actually happening now. But there are so many women that I know who have had countless failed IVFs or countless miscarriages a lot later on than what I had. And you think all that work, you know, like little things like taking your supplements every day and like not drinking or like not eating certain foods and like doing all the right things and all this effort that you put in and no one else has to put any effort in. It's all on you. And then it can get taken away and you have to start again and you have to wait. And it's the time you have to wait. And meanwhile, you've still got a family to look after and a business to look after.
The business and the team. And
and it's like, how can I be like making funny videos when I'm like devastated and I just want to be at home under my blanket, but I can't because I've got to make Nye Weet-Bix and I've got to take her to daycare and I've got to do all this stuff, and it was really hard.
Thank you for sharing, because that is like, I feel like, I mean, we're all teary and really feeling that, you know, how painful that was, but I can't imagine how that would have felt. I'm so sorry that you experienced that. And it's like an invisible mourning. It's such a this deep sense of loss and what could have been and all the things that you said, but it's you're grieving something that, you know, kind of in a way is invisible, like people don't know, or it's not.
People never felt anything, you know, like you're the one who kind of went through the sickness and you can feel things starting to change, but none of it's visible. And and then when it gets taken away, those things are still kind of happening within your body.
Yeah.
But I think people just don't realize how long it takes for things to normalize again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that, Tegan. There's so many women who will be going through the same thing. I also think it's a really important conversation for team members listening or people who have a loved one that's a business owner, because while you're going through the most pivotal, emotionally difficult, enormous time in your life, you have to walk in and be the pillar for the team.
Yeah.
You've got to deal with, you know, you're at the end of the day, the buck stops with you with everything, you know, client feedback, you know, orders fucking up.
Yeah. The girls have to get paid. Like I'm still online doing that every single, even postpartum, you still have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I am really lucky. My team was amazing, and like they just took care of like any kind of cancellations. They took care of it. I never had to call anyone myself, and they just picked up the pieces for me, and I'm just so grateful for that. And I just, I think if it was a different group of people, or I didn't have my mum or Johnny or Bron or like the rest of my family, I just don't know how I would have gotten through it without their help, because there were times where I was just like, Mum, you're just going to have to take Nye. Like me and Johnny just need to soak this in. And I'm just so lucky that they were there to do that, because a lot of people don't have the support network. And like anything that has been successful in my life has been because of everyone else. It's like it's like this
village.
Boring saying of it takes a village, but it really does.
It does.
It really does.
I think I love that you've said that, because it's so like we're Nikki and I are sisters, and we sit in that constantly and truly like raise each other's children and like have that you need your community, you need your village. And like even with that, like even changing that narrative of like, you know, like the fact that you're saying this now will help so many people.
I hope so.
Who will feel seen, who will be able to relate, who will even learn from it, you know, knowing it's not always the best move if someone is saying that they've experienced this. Maybe don't say, oh, well, you know, it's you know, taking care of it,
at
so
least
you don't have to.
Pregnant.
Exactly.
At least
that's the first one that everyone says, well, you can get pregnant so you can just go again.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm so relaxed now.
Exactly. Just don't fix it for a second. Just fucking allow me to feel it. Yeah.
Say this is going to take a really long time and it's going to be really sad for a while. Yeah. Like it's as simple as that.
How can I help you? How can I support? What can I do?
Bring
I'm
me
so
food.
Sorry.
I don't want to cook dinner.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. Clean for me, cook for me, do nothing.
Change Nye's nappy, get a house cleaner for me.
Yeah.
That's how you can be helpful. And like it's our reflex to be logical. I've done it to many people when they've told me, you know, that their parents or grandparents are unwell, and, you know, you try and it's just no one means any harm. But like now that I've been through that, I just feel like all you need to say is, I'm so sorry. That is really hard for you. I'm going to be here for you the whole entire time, and it's going to be really sad for a while, and just take your time. I think that's all you need to hear.
I totally agree. It's so important. It's something we don't do as humans. We need to.
Yeah.
Thank you for having that conversation. It's really important, like really, really important conversation to have. Not a dry eye in this room. Tegan, I want to talk about motherhood and your team. And Tess and I often talk about this, like becoming mums have made us such better leaders for our team.
Yeah.
How do you think motherhood has affected or benefited your team?
I mean, I think on a personal level, because it was something I've always wanted to do, I definitely feel like I'm a more relaxed person now that I'm not waiting for this phase of my life to start. Like I'm in it now. Like I have Nye now. So I think I'm a more relaxed person. And even just having to step back, like now I only do 2 days a week, I'm much more available for my team, and I can spend time working with them rather than just alongside them, because before it's like if I'm there, I'm fully booked. We don't get to do meetings and stuff because, you know, you just take bookings while you're there. So there's definitely some benefits in stepping back and kind of changing your role in the team to be more of that boss figure rather than just like another team member. Because I'd never want anyone to feel like, oh, Tegan's here, like crap, we've got to, like we're all on the same level, but now I can take on those like boss responsibilities, like planning proper meetings with presentations and I've planned like a tea and tarot activity for Friday with the girls and like all these things that I just didn't have time for before, I now can do because I have more flexibility because I'm not doing contact hours with clients.
Yes.
Now it's like if Naya's at daycare, I can go into work and actually just be there and talk to people or film content rather than just working in the business. Yeah.
So now your role's more about working on the business.
Yeah.
The team.
Yeah. So
beautiful.
like that's definitely helped, especially with like doing proper training and stuff because I just didn't have time for it before.
Yeah. And if we don't get away from, you know, standing behind the chair or in the treatment room, if we don't step out of that, we just can't grow. Like your business will be capped at that.
And you kind of lose sight of even how the business is going when you're so buried into doing treatments. Now I can step back and be like, what do we want to change? Like, what can we work on? Let's do client surveys. Let's get some feedback. Let's change this. Yeah. All right, everyone's massage. Let's incorporate more massage. All that stuff that you just don't have time to think about when you're just back to back with treatments and then you just go home. Now I feel like I can take a step back and really look at everything and try and make things better. So going into this second birth coming up in October, I feel like I'm more confident with how the business is running because I've been able to stand back and actually see it. Whereas before I went from working full time, I hired one person and then like I was out of there and I was like, I have no idea what's going on at work. I have no idea. Yeah. Like I'm just not around. Whereas this time I feel like I've got my established team. Like Shanae's been there. She'll be there for 2 years by that point. So I feel like I'll be able to relax a lot more. And I can tell them, can you do content for me? Yeah. And like collab me on Instagram. So and then I don't have to post anything. Like they're so good at that too. So yeah, I feel like there's definitely been perks to changing my role and also taking on less clients, which is a scary thought at the start, but it's been really good. I like the balance now.
I think it is something that like is a really hard thing to do, going from like, especially for you, like your business is your brand, like and you are the brand. So to actually,
and then you're not there, and it's kind of like, are people still going to want to come in? If I'm not there, and it's like, no, they do because they trust you.
Yes,
and they like you, and they want to support you, and
they're investing in your standard.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. One of our private clients, Carmen, who is a skin fairy in Perth.
Yes.
One thing that she always talks about is like people are paying for my standard. And I just think it's such a beautiful reminder of like what we set, the tone that we set. And that's what's upheld. It's not about our personalities or the performative side of our business. It's about the standard that we make.
Yeah.
Which I just
well, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Like you can be funny and post funny videos and like post all this aesthetically pleasing stuff online and have a great looking Instagram feed. But like if people don't like the treatments,
you can't back it up.
They're going to come in once and they're never going to come back. Yep. Whereas like I've had clients from when I was employed by Andrula back in 2016 still coming in and like they've gotten married and they've had kids and all these different changes, and it's just like that is because they like the treatments, they're seeing results, like all the stuff that really matters is there, and then all the other stuff is just a bonus.
So good.
Tegan, I want to wrap with one final question.
Yeah.
I want to know what you would say to that version of you who was pregnant with Naya.
Yep.
The boss. And you were feeling maybe overwhelmed with the idea of stepping back to go and be a mum.
Yeah.
What would you say to that version of yourself now?
God, I would say dipping out for a few months when you're looking at, 10, 15, 20 years of hopefully being in this business, it's not as paramount as you think it is. It's not going to have as much of an impact as you think it is. And if you've set up a good business, which I feel like I have, the people will wait They'll wait for you to come back. They're happy for you. They want to see you at home with your baby. And when you come back, they're all going to be waiting there, and you'll have new ideas and new energy and new perspective, and you can start again. And even if things totally drop off, you can always start again. It's never like, this is it, this is my one chance. And if I leave, it's all going to go away and then that's going to be it forever. So you're just giving yourself, like, trusting the process, especially when you're in the newborn phase. It doesn't feel like that forever, and you will have more time at work than you ever will have with a newborn. So, like, just be in the newborn phase and don't worry about the work, because it will be waiting for you for years and years and years and years to come.
God, I wish I had heard that 5 years ago.
How good that we've got this now where you can play this back after you have your next bubble.
Oh my God, I'll be like, Tegan, you lied. You lied.
I'm saying, Tegan, go and listen to part 28 at this point.
Yeah.
You need to go and replay it.
Yeah,
That's
no.
amazing.
But it's so good. That's even like, that's really helped me, because they grow so fast.
They do.
Like, it's wild.
Like they're a newborn for 7 weeks. And it's like, you don't get that time back.
No.
So, like, don't worry that you haven't done a post on Instagram that, like, no one really cares about.
Exactly.
Really, no one. It's not going to change anyone's life. Whereas you being there with your baby will absolutely change the baby's life.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that. That's so special. Thank you.
Tegan.
TEGAN MAC.SKIN.
Oh,
Thank you. I'm sure this is probably different to your usual podcast where you're talking about, like, pigmentation and all rosacea.
Yeah, I haven't cried about melasma. I've probably cried about acne before. But just not on the podcast. That's more of like a bathroom thing at home.
It's absolutely understood.
Thank you for sharing your heart with our community and for having a conversation that so many women aren't comfortable enough to have. You have helped so many people through this conversation. So thank you for being
and sharing that. Like, that is something that we really see as such, like, sacredness, but also the healing and the understanding and just people feeling and resonating with that in this room. We're resonating with that.
Yeah,
like,
I hope everyone just feels a little more connected and not as alone.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Special.
Being a woman, being a mum and working, it's a lot of pressure, but
It's pretty fucking remarkable though as well.
Yeah, it's
look
like
at
I
us.
wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely.
This is like, I've like made up my own little world, and it's just like my mum's working with me. She brings me lunch.
We love our
my best friends there.
I was
like, we're
listening to it
having
and I
hot
was
chocolate
wow.
at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. Like,
Yes.
it's just...
But it's like that. That community really continues. Like, we've got our mums in our business, not on the books officially, but
sometimes she comes to retreats with us and,
Yeah.
like, helps out.
It's the
That's
best.
what makes
My
everyone tea
mum's
and
sitting in the
coffee.
waiting room talking to my clients. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, Mum, I've got to take them upstairs.
Oh,
like, we've
love
got an
it.
appointment. And she just, it's like, to have it so personable like that is just, I'm
But that's so
feel
special
so
and
lucky.
so
how it's
unique.
worked out.
But you've created
that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
what
It's
you've
a real
built.
reflection.
I
of
must
what
be
you've
doing
done.
something right. I don't know.
Absolutely. What is it? The ducks of theatre from here.
Yeah, I know.
Look at how proud is she of TEGAN MAC.SKIN.
She's doing it. She's doing the
She's
damn
doing
thing.
the damn thing.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Conscious Salon podcast.
Love you guys. Stay conscious.